Remember being a kid living your best life on vacation? Your parents would give you $20 to spend on anything you wanted, and you blew it on the first tacky stuffed animal or shiny rock that you saw. Well, this video is going to help make sure that the little kid inside of you spends your money wisely on souvenirs here in Switzerland. And we know that you're stuffing your suitcase with things that you buy because 88% of our audience said they buy souvenirs while in another country on vacation. So no matter your budget, let's jump into our ultimate guide to Swiss souvenirs, starting with the cheapest options at less than 5 francs. Of course, there's an abundance of stickers and patches and magnets and postcards you can buy, but one of our favorite souvenirs to bring home is food. So we're gonna run through a quick hit list of Swiss food and drinks that you can snag from the grocery store, and then we'll move on to our non-food recommendations. Every time we travel back to the USA, we fill our suitcase with pounds or kilograms of chocolate to bring back to our family and friends. The top brands are Lindt, Caille, and Frey, but most of our peeps seem to like Ragusa and Torino best. These aren't technically a solid chocolate bar because they're made with hazelnut cream, but they are still really good and of course made here in Switzerland. Brett used to love Nutella until he found this. Ovomaltine is a crunchy malt cocoa hazelnut spread made just outside of Bern. And of course you can get this in the grocery store, but a lot of hotel breakfast buffets have this in those little packets like butter and jam. So if you're a Nutella fan, be sure to try this delight on your Swiss vacation. Combly is one of the most popular brands for Swiss cookies and biscuits and snacks, and they've been making them in the Emmental near Bern for nearly 115 years. We went to their free factory store and mini museum, and we were blown away by the unlimited samples. And now we buy their products pretty regularly from the grocery store. As a tourist, be sure to check out the variety pack so you can sample multiple Combly treats. You can definitely find a bottle of Swiss beer for less than 5 francs. Appenzeller is one of Brett's favorites of the larger breweries in Switzerland, but there are a ton of smaller businesses and craft breweries in local communities as well. Most of the time when we eat out in a restaurant, you'll find me ordering a Schorle. It's a lightly, mildly carbonated apple juice. And there's a few different companies who make this in Switzerland. There's Ramsayr outside of Lucerne, Vivicola in Zurich, and Mostrai Moll in Thurgau. And then there's Rivella, which is casually known as the national drink of Switzerland. It's made in Canton Aargau, but I'm not going to tell you what it's made from. You'll just have to taste it and try it for yourself. Okay, so we're using this handy thermometer to show you our rising price ranges, and next are souvenirs that you can buy for just 5 to 10 francs. This is legit hot chocolate made from real Swiss chocolate and happens to be produced by the same company who makes Ovomaltine. Here in Switzerland, it's popular to eat Zopf on Sundays, which is also called Sonnenbrot or Sunday bread. It's really fluffy and buttery and always braided, and of course you'll find it in every grocery store and bakery. Brett loves it so much that I decided to learn how to make it at home, and that's when I discovered these handy pre-made Zopf packets. All you have to do is add water, knead, rest, braid, and bake. Swiss cheese. There is a lot we could say about this delicacy. You can find lots of them in the grocery store or a proper cheese shop, which is called a Molkerei in German-speaking Switzerland. Naturally, there's raclette as well as pre-mixed fondue packets. Be on the lookout for Alpkäse, Bergkäse, or Hobelkäse, which are cheeses that are made from cows grazing up in the Alps or made from traditional farming methods. These are our absolute favorite types, especially if they're aged just a few years. Emmentaler is what Americans typically refer to as Swiss cheese, but you won't find anyone calling it that here. Others include Tilsiter, Tête du Moine, Appenzeller, and Gruyère. Of course, these are just the beginning. There's so many types, and we just encourage you to try them all. You can probably find most of these cheeses in your home country too. And it's important to note that you do need to check the travel restrictions to see which items can and cannot be brought back into your home country. That goes for cheeses, but pretty much everything on this list as well. Let's wrap up the food section with mini liqueur bottles. The most popular ones are Kirsch, made from cherries, Williams, made from pears, and Apricotine, made from apricots. There's one more item in our 5 to 10 franc category related to food, and that is Victorinox cooking knives. These are fantastic, and we personally use them in our own kitchen. And the last item in this category is money. So the Swiss franc has a 5 franc coin instead of a bill, and it is a really big coin. And each of the banknotes are cool because they feature text in all 4 of the national Swiss languages, plus they have more than 15 security features, making them some of the best protected currencies in the world. The banknotes are also neat because each one gets progressively longer. So the 10 franc is the shortest, and then the 20 franc is a little longer, and then the 50 franc's a little longer than that, and so on. Now we're moving up to the price range of 10 to 25 francs, starting with this traditionally Swiss black and white pattern. This craft started in the 1800s, where they would take a single sheet of paper and delicately cut out this design, but now you see this pattern everywhere. I have it in this journal, a set of bowls, and even some key hooks on our wall, and I've had my eyes on some wine glasses with it as well. Right after we moved here, Brett surprised me with this puzzle that has the same black and white decoupage pattern. He also bought me earlier this year a puzzle of Oceaninsee, one of my favorite Swiss lakes, but I haven't finished that one yet. The Swiss cowbell was the very first souvenir I ever bought when I came to Switzerland way back in 2007. I found one that was perfect to put on my Christmas tree every single year. We've also bought them as gifts for all of our nieces and nephews. Yes, I know they're noisy, so sorry about that to our brothers and sisters. Speaking of gifts for kids, we also bought Traufer wooden cows. They are the top gift we recommend for kids of all ages. The cow is classic, but there's every type of farm animal imaginable, as well as a Swiss mountain dog and a farmer playing an Alp horn. These are literally in every tourist shop in Switzerland, but you can even paint your own cow at the main factory in Brienz. The Brienz School of Wood Carving is the only place in Switzerland where you can learn the art of wood carving, so you'll see lots of wooden items in all the shops nearby. We've bought countless manger scenes and little trees as gifts, and we also have these wooden candles in our foyer. Since we live near Interlaken, we'll go ahead and plug Woodpecker, which is our favorite shop in the Jungfrau region to buy wooden souvenirs. The owner is so kind, and she's often busy carving something really beautiful in the front of the shop. 2 other tourist shops that we recommend in Interlaken are Heimatwerk for top quality home products and toys, or the Top of Europe flagship store, which has Lindt chocolate, Swatch watches, Victorinox Swiss Army knives, and loads of regional souvenirs. Plus, you get a 10% discount from the store if you're traveling with the Jungfrau Travel Pass. Let's keep going with the 10 to 25 franc price range, starting with a few more Swiss food and drinks. Brett just always assumed he wouldn't find great wine in Switzerland, but we've both been surprised as we've started sampling more here. Some of the best Swiss wines, reds, whites, and rosés can be found in Canton Valais or in the Lavaux wine terraces above Lake Geneva. And since only about 1% of Swiss wine is exported, you'll want to be sure to try some while you're here. We can't decide if Basel or Lakerli are cookies or cakes or biscuits or bread. They're just so unique. They're a combination of ground hazelnuts and almonds mixed with honey, lemon zest, orange zest, and a dash of kirsch liqueur. You can find these in most grocery stores, although their factory near Basel has a great shop and interesting museum with plenty of free samples too. Rosti is kind of like the national dish of German-speaking Switzerland, and the best way to describe it is as glorified hash browns, but way better. It's on the menu in most restaurants, or you can buy these pre-made packets from the grocery store as well. If you try raclette in Switzerland and fall in love with it, you can bring it home with you. Now, most raclette stoves and fondue pots are electric, which is just a hassle when you're dealing with all those plugs, but they do make some that are powered by tea light candles, and they actually work to melt your cheese, which is perfect. If you're a bookworm like me, then I have so many books to recommend to you, but the one that fits into this price range and is filled with the most interesting facts is called Swiss Watching. I would hold it up here to show to you, but I have it on Kindle, so that doesn't really work so well. Now we're jumping up to our next category of 25 to 50 franc price range, starting with a few more books. And the first one is Swiss Suppers. I bought this book last year with the goal of making one new Swiss recipe per week. And I was recently gifted this book, The Best Swiss Train Rides, and it happens to be by the same author as the first book that I mentioned. And this is cool because it includes the popular scenic train rides, of course, but it also has a lot of lesser known areas, and oh my gosh, they are so beautiful, and I've already added them to my bucket list. I have enjoyed these books so much that I reached out to the publisher to see if I could get you a discount code. And you can get both of these books 15% off using the code Aplins15. And they do ship worldwide. But shipping in Switzerland is only 5 francs, so maybe you can buy these before your trip and have them shipped to your Airbnb or your hotel before you arrive. You can also find a lot of these products in Swiss bookstores or souvenir shops, and they're even on Amazon too. Moving right along, these whiskey glasses are awesome conversation starters. We have one of the Matterhorn and one of the Jungfrau. And what's cool is they each hold a different amount of volume, equivalent to the elevation in meters of either Zermatt or Grindelwald. We first noticed these gondola lights at a Swiss Christmas market in 2023 and just bought them last year. Now, we originally purchased them as a Christmas decoration, but our baby boy loves them so much that they are a permanent fixture in our living room. We love board games, and we actually own Ticket to Ride Switzerland. It's neat when we're playing because we can say, oh, do you remember that time we hung out in the Swiss Grand Canyon in Chur? Or how about that time we watched the golden sunset in Ticino? It's just a really unique way to share Switzerland with our friends and family. And that book publisher I mentioned earlier, Helvetic, has a neat looking line of Swiss board games. We just haven't tried any of them yet. So let us know if you do. We are in the land of cheese, so it is important to learn that each type of cheese demands to be cut in a different way. And I'm not even joking. A Girol, which is designed for tête du monde cheese, is one that you can snag for less than 50 francs. But another type of cheese cutter will require you to jump up to our next category of 50 to 100 francs. This was gifted to us last year by some very dear Swiss friends. It's called a Hobel, or cheese plane, and it is designed for Hobelkäse. Victorinox created the original Swiss Army knife and has made more than 500 million of them since 1897. They come in a variety of shapes and colors, and a lot of tourist shops will even personally engrave them for you. Now, you can add on plenty more bells and whistles and gadgets to increase the cost, the usefulness, and just the coolness factor. Call us old school, but we really appreciate handwritten notes, so we always have a stash of really nice note cards and pens in our desk. And Caran d'Ache writing instruments, I think I'm saying that right, are the perfect Swiss souvenir for authors and artists. Now, you could spend way more, but this price range will get you a pretty good ballpoint or fountain pen. We're opening up our pocketbooks a little bit wider for the category of 100 to 1,000 francs. Now, it's helpful to know that if you spend more than 300 francs on a single purchase, you may be eligible for a VAT refund, which is as much as 8.1%. Basically, when you make your purchase, you ask for a tax-free form, and then when you go to leave the country, you submit this form and get an immediate refund. Now, we're not experts on this, but we will put a few links in our blog that might be helpful for you. It's no surprise that Swiss watches made this list. In 2024, Swiss watches were a $26 billion industry and Switzerland's third largest exported product. Whenever we go to pretty much any town in Switzerland and walk down the shopping street, we are amazed at the variety of brands and colors and styles and price tags. In fact, a few years ago, we had some friends come visit, and Brett took their 10-year-old son into Interlaken to do some tourist shopping, and they played this game to see who could spy the most expensive Swiss watch in a storefront window. And the winner was more than 20,000 francs. Next is cuckoo clocks. Now, this is an interesting one because you always hear they're not actually Swiss. They're made in the Black Forest in Germany. But like we mentioned earlier, Switzerland is really well known for their wood carving, and they used to actually make some cuckoo clocks here. So if you're on your Swiss vacation and you just really want a cuckoo clock, why not buy one? We did on our honeymoon when we were in Brienz at their wood carving museum. We recently learned the interesting history of Freitag bags from the Freitag Tower in Zurich. Here's the gist of it. They upcycle old semi-truck tarps into unique, one-of-a-kind bags in all shapes and sizes. So if you need a new wallet or a purse, or you need a bigger duffel bag to bring home all of your Swiss souvenirs, you can do it in style with the Freitag bag. I have a feeling a lot of you are still watching because you know Switzerland is expensive, and you're curious what in the world you can spend more than 1,000 Swiss francs on. Well, drum roll please. What could be more Swiss than an Alphorn? There's a shop in Habkern near Interlaken where you can go and watch them make Alphorns and learn all about the process, and of course, buy one of these beauties to bring home with you. Imagine what your neighbors would think if they hear you playing an Alphorn. Now, one of the first items on our list was Swiss coins worth just a few cents, so let's send it off with the 1,000 franc banknote, which is one of the largest denominations of currency in the world. But of course, the best souvenir that you can take home from your Swiss vacation is the memories you make. So watch this next to maximize your experiences, and we'll see you in Switzerland.